With SharePoint, you can define different ways to work with records, but essentially, there are three approaches. You can manage records in place, where people are working. For example, if they're working in a document library, you can declare documents right there as records and prevent them from being deleted or modified. You can also archive documents in a record center or multiple record centers. You can also develop a multi-stage solution that includes both. When you manage records in place, end users don't need to send a record to an archive. A document can be declared as a record right where people are working. The file remains in context with related content. And the solution works well for files that support current activities, such as a project that's still going on. Maybe you need to manage certain documents related to a project as records because they're official records of action or contracts, but the files can remain where people are working. Let's take a look. This is a document library where people are working on content, and it contains a lease agreement that needs to be declared as a record. Someone can just click on Declare Record, and the file becomes a record that you can handle in a special way. When you manage records in an archive, the records manager can see and group the archived files. Some records managers may want to see all the files in one place. It's more clear that content in a record center is considered a record. In some cases, it may reduce the possibility for confusion. The record is out of the way of day-to-day work. In some cases, that may be the way that you prefer to work. Let's take a look at a record center. So this is a record center for Kinetico. It contains different folders to manage different types of content. It also has a drop-off library where files can wait to be further categorized. A records manager could also publish information about the records management policy. The record center can be a central location where you can manage all the content in your company that you have as records, or you can have multiple record centers if you need them. You can also use both solutions together. For example, you may be supporting multiple departments, and some departments may need to have the content stored in place, and some may need to have a defined archive location. For example, there may be some departments that are working with current projects or with records related to current employees or students. In other cases, it may be very clear a document is a record, and you may want to send that to the archive. You can also design a multi-stage solution. Content can be declared in place initially while people are still working with the project, and then it can be moved to a record center for final archiving and deletion. So the three different approaches to records management in SharePoint gives you a lot of flexibility in designing your records management solution.